Hello everybody, welcome back to Season 3 of the Rayo Vallecano Eyes Test Save with me, Matt, Ringo FM. Season 3, we survived, man, we survived. This is the second upload of a double upload day, because I got so far into the save and I knew there was like a relegation playoff essentially coming up against the two teams around us. I just had to record another video last night. I took the dog out, ran home, recorded the quick video. But yeah, here we are with the start of Season 3, and we're going to go through sort of what's happened in the off-season so far and what the plans are going forward. So to start off quickly with the finances, you can see there was a very big spike up in August. That was 23 million came in. That is the TV money. There's not a lot of prize money in La Liga, to the point where we actually didn't really get any prize money for finishing where we finished. The projection is going to be that if it carries on, we're going to be losing a lot of money because we do have a lot of transfer debt. 2.86 million, there's only a net debt of 2 million, so actually financially it's not too bad. We're just not quite self-sustaining. I have also asked the club to build new training facilities because they're lacking a little bit. They are well underway in doing that. They have also upped the youth recruitment too. I thought it'd show me that, but anyway, it doesn't. There's things to be excited about. I think again, if we stick to the tactical style that we like playing, we'll be fine. So we're on the 1st of July, so the transfer window is now open, but we've done most of our business beforehand. So we're going to talk about the players going out. Obviously, Mohamed Baldini, I did mention in last night's episode, he has gone out to Galatasaray for 1.8 million. He smashed it at Tenerife. 11 and 22. Like, I had to recall him. I didn't really have a choice. But he's gone. 1.2 million. Takuma Asano is one we did speak about. He needed to go. He wasn't performing very well. He was becoming a bit injury prone. Speaking of injury prone, you've got this absolute fraud in Kevin Dorham. He has gone. He's gone over to Levante. Risto Radunovic goes to Tenerife. The fans, when they're talking about the transfer, so they think that we're going to miss him. But we've actually signed a few players that can cover at left back, so I think we should be okay. And then Michael Fulracinho, who left to Villarreal for £2 million, which is actually, if you look at his valuation, it's probably a bit spot on. But we do also have a 20% sell-on fee in there. So what we need to do, just to keep the money coming into the club, is anyone we do sell, we either get a massive fee for them, but we do need some sort of sell-on. And that'll bring us nicely onto the transfers in. We will start with Gustavo Puerta coming in for 3.5 million. We did speak about him. We really wanted to exercise the option to bring him in. I think he's a fantastic player. 4 goals, 5 assists in the league last season. Only 21. Can only get better. He's a lot better than Fulracinho. So I think him and Jota in the long run is to start midfield. 21 and 22. Young players, lots of room to develop. And more importantly, they've performed already, so they can carry on performing. Next in then is one of the pre-contract signings. It is Simeone Bastoni, who was coming from Spezia. Played a lot of football over there, the 28-year-old, 102 appearances for Spezia. Very well-rounded, an excellent well-rounded player. 5'11", so he's tall enough. Again, you think about what we look for: anticipation, acceleration. Jumping reach is a bit low, but I just feel like he provides the depth, he provides the cover for I was going to say Uranga then. He provides the cover in central midfield for Puerta, and then that means that he can come in. It means Puerta doesn't have to play every single game. It means he doesn't have to play 90 minutes every game, and it probably means we can get Uranga a development loan if possible. But look at this, he can also cover at fullback, and you think about how we like to cover the wing as well. But how we like to play is we like to play with taller fullbacks who can win the ball in the air. He's a very good tackler, he's quite aggressive, good work rate. He's just a very good player, amazing personality as well. So I think he's going to eventually come up the hierarchy and be one of the higher players up there. Next up then, another free transfer. It is Alvaro Fernandez, who has come in from Manchester United, a former Real Madrid youth player. Free transfer. I like the look of him attribute-wise. The coaches aren't keen on him. he doesn't enjoy big matches, and he's fairly inconsistent. And I think I've spoken about the big matches thing on the coach report before. I think if a player is consistent, it doesn't matter that he doesn't like big games because the consistency takes over. It's just something I've noticed, particularly with someone like Jota. It happens as well with Jackson Perozzo. He is a very consistent performer, but doesn't enjoy big games. But then you look at his average rating, and he's 6.7 to 7 every single week. And then there'll be the odd one blip where we lose a game. But yeah, Alvaro Fernandez, again, you think about what we like. Acceleration, 14. Anticipation, 13. Jump and reach, 12. He's 6'2". Again, his tackling isn't fantastic, and he likes to get forward whenever possible. So I've got a sneaky feeling that I might start trying him out as a left winger, similarly to what we've done with Estevez over on the right hand side. I feel like he's got the attributes to play it. If we do this, winger support, he can cross. Well, it's not amazing, but as we know, crossing's not necessarily the best attribute to have. He can dribble. He's got a good first touch, good passing, good technique. His off the ball is actually very good. His work rate, teamwork, a decent, very good determination. His flair's not up there, but as you know, you think if you can just get in and get the ball in, stamina's good, pace is good, his jump and reach is good. We like players at the back post. Agility's decent for a 6'2" guy, and his acceleration's good. So I think that's probably the way to go, and maybe have Bastoni cover the left back if absolute necessary, because we do have Pacheco, and obviously we do have Valenti, who is basically the backup left back and was towards the back end of last season. Espino is still here, but he's going to be third choice now. We move on then to our striker for the season. We have brought in John Duran from Aston Villa on a season-long loan, 1.7 million fee for the course of the season, which I think is okay. Again, the coaches aren't enamoured with him, saying he's fairly inconsistent. They do say that he is quite injury-prone, but he can strike the ball well. He's balanced the normal, possesses a fair amount of pace, and he's versatile. He can play out on this left-hand side, which is fantastic, because again, 6'1", very good jump and reach, very good acceleration, good agility, good anticipation. I like him. He moves into the channels, he cuts inside from both wings, and he runs at the ball often. We did want a complete forward, and that's what we went scouting for, that's what we went looking for. It just tends to work better in this tactic. Obviously, Yakubu can play that role, but wasn't playing it as well as Morrow was doing, and Yakubu was fairly inconsistent. 8 goals Yakubu finished on, which I think is actually decent for someone who can't really finish. But we do have John Duran, who can finish, can play up front, can play out on the left, can play on the right, can hold the ball up, can pass, can dribble, can shoot, can score, can header. I just think he's a very good option to bring in. And then finally, the big pre-contract signing that I spoke about in the last video. I was surprised I managed to get him so cheap. He was a free, but we did have to pay 1 million up front. I think it's something to do with MLS laws when they're a dedicated player. I don't know why, because there was no sort of like signing on fee, but it's gone through as like 1.8 million. We didn't, 1.3 million. Genuinely, he was an out of contract signing. But it's Sergio Busquets from Inter Miami, 1.3 million. He will probably be the starter in that defensive midfield defend position, which will allow Zobnin to cover a few different positions. I'm very happy, very, very, very happy to get this through the door. Amazing personality, he's resolute, his mentals are amazing. Ignore the acceleration because he's going to be playing in the holding role and he's just there to win the ball back and pass it. Jump and reach of 14, anticipation of 19, composure, concentration, decisions of 18, positioning of 17, teamwork of 19. He can pass the ball. He's got 16 vision, 17 passing. He plays short, simple passes. He stays back at all times, and he runs with the ball. Really, he will just sit. He will win that ball back, and he will pass it on. I am very, very, very happy to get Sergio Busquets through the door. We did throw a little cheeky bid in for Messi, not gonna lie, but he wanted like 600 grand a week, so it's not happening. And I believe that leaves us looking a little bit something like this. Sort of for now, obviously we are on the 1st of July, things can transpire, things can happen. This is the state of play, I think. We've got Cardenas, Pacheco, Perozzo, Van Hecke, Harwood Bellis. Busquets, I think, will start most games. We've got Puerta and Jota. Yakuba out on the left, just Frutos back over to the right-hand side, and John Duran up front. Obviously, we do have the options. We've got Hugo Uranga who can come in there. We've got Mario More who can play in the inverted winger out on the left. We've got a lot of options. Obviously, I did mention Valenti can cover a left back. I've got Bastoni who can come in for either centre midfield role, really. I've got Zoblin who can come and do any of these midfield roles. I think we've actually got quite... I mean, these are all youth players. They're literally all youth players, apart from Valenti and Estevez and Fernandez. Obviously, we've got Estevez who can do right mid or right back. Don't really want to play him right back. He's not tall enough for me. Fernandez who can cover left back, or we're training him to play left wing. State of play is very, very good, but we do have a couple of little snags which I'm trying to tiptoe around. The first of them being then that Borussia Dortmund made an inquiry about Jan-Paul van Hecke. He does have a £17 million release clause. They did offer us $8 million, and I said, look, if you can give me the 17, I will take it outright. If they try to negotiate it and they only want to sort of give me like between 8 and 10, I will just try and throw the percentage in next sale on there. It's part and parcel of it. If we lose them, we do know, we've got the scouting filters that we like to look at, but we do have players within the club that we could potentially bring in and play at centre half too. And the next one, and it makes sense as to why I was looking at left back cover, is that John Pacheco, similarly, Athletic Bilbao want him. I did point out in a previous video that he is Basque. He's been brilliant. He had 6.76, 3 assists, 2 goals. I think he was fantastic towards the back end of last season. Bilbao came in with a £2.4 million offer up front. I said, you know what, he's got a £10 million release clause. Similarly, if you activate it, you can have him. If you want to negotiate it, you've got to give us a sell-on fee. And I think if Van Hecke were to go, it would leave the door open to Claude Nkunku probably coming in as the first choice to develop. He is only 16. Mentally, he's brilliant. Physically, he's very good. He's not very quick, but he's got sort of what we look for. Good jump and reach, good acceleration, good anticipation, which is only getting better. He can play a little bit, 10 passing, 9 vision. It'll only get better. He's got 12 free kick taken, which is interesting. And yeah, I think he could probably come in and do a job. But we do have somebody like David Guerra, who is one of the youth intakes that happened at the back end of last season. I purposely didn't do the New Gam face pack just so I could remember which ones were who. Again, he's unambitious. The personalities have become a bit of an issue with the youth. But he looks decent, 6 foot, decent jump and reach, anticipation's fairly low, but I feel like he makes up for it in other areas. He could potentially come in. There is also obviously Laurauto Valenti, who can play centre back, but he's purely left footed, as is Jackson Perozzo, so I don't really want to lose one of them. And to the right hand side, Taylor Harwood-Bellis, I think he's not a fullback, a centre back. I think he's just purely a fullback, to be honest with you. So it could mean that we go looking for a new centre back, or we promote Claude Nkunku to the starting 11. And then just on the youth players, this was the youth intake that came in. These were all the players that ended up being signed. Personalities were lacking, to be honest. I mean, Rasul Diouf, there's another unambitious one. We also have Walter Pereira, who came in. He's an Argentinian. He's balanced. I'm training him to play left back. I think he could play there. He's got 11 jump and reach. He's only fairly small. He's 5'9", but they do grow. They do grow in height. No one else really to mention. Obviously, you've seen David Guerra. Ivan Parra he could be okay. He's another sweeper keeper. I don't think he's as good as Guay. Ivan Castell, again, another player, 6'3". They think he's natural at fullback. Great. That's what we like. We like tall fullbacks. So he came in. Nils Hahn. Yeah. Okay, he works hard, he's a good tackler, he's quite technical for his age. It's just not a very good youth intake. I'm actually more excited about this guy, Ivan Raider, as a right winger. I think he's actually very good already, to be honest with you. I think he could do a job. But yeah, nothing amazing, but nothing too bad. But that did lead me into thinking that a lot of the personality was doing my head in. It was quite bad. Obviously, we did have Pereira come through, and his favourite personnel has got this guy, Jonathan Santos, who he's balanced. The fact that he's only got a sporadic knowledge of Argentina and Pereira sort of has him as a favourite personnel. It just shows that all of your youth staff are important, and they're the ones who bring the players through. So we've had a little bit of a clear out in the management team. We brought this guy in, Omar Daff, who is 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. I think the better we get, we will go to 4-2-3-1. Model sits and personality, decent enough attributes, but has got an extensive knowledge of Senegal and France, which is why we brought him in. We also brought in Sergio Aguero. Again, personality, he's ambitious. It's Sergio Aguero at the end of the day. Good determination. I thought he would probably... He can grow as well as a coach. It makes sense to bring him in. Also, Lee Wallace, former QPR Rangers and Hearts player, fairly professional personality, 4-3-3, which you like to see. Very, very good mental attributes. So hopefully he can bring a few more players with better mental attributes through. And just to touch again on things like the sell-on clauses and whatnot, you see sort of the players that I've sold. Takuma Asano, 10% of his next fee is owed to us. We've got instalments coming in. Sergio Camelo, 10% of his next transfer fee. I don't think he'll be at Tenerife long, so that's not bad. Werner was already sold before we got there. Pathé Cis, they owe us another 2 instalments of 160k. Michael Florentino, 20% sell-on fee. He's only 26, 27. I probably feel like he will go again. We can... Real Madrid can buy Fran Garcia back. Who's Fran Garcia? How strange. Anyway, Damari Gray, we've got a 10% sell-on fee on him. Adrian Hernandez, we're still getting money in. Lejeune, we're still getting money in. Suleiman Mara, we're still owed money on 2 more instalments. Abdul Mumin, we do have a 10% again on Abdul Mumin, who he did actually play a fair bit for Betis. He played against us as well. 7-6. I don't think he'll be there much longer, to be honest. So again, if we can get a bit more money in for him, that's fine. Kevin and Dora and 10%. EC, we've got money coming in. Falcao, we've still got money coming in. And Luke Wolfenden, we still have money coming in, and he does have a sell-on clause. His value's gone higher because he's playing in the English League now. I think that's a good bit of business. And it's everyone's favourite time of the year. It's when players get released from teams in the leagues around you. There's a lot of good players to look at there. Luka Modric, obviously, is Luka Modric. He is retiring, so that we won't be able to pick him up. Danny Carvajal, I think he's retiring as well. He is, yeah. Inigo Martinez could be left back cover if we lose Pacheco. Who's he wanted by? He's wanted by a few good clubs. Jump and reach isn't great. Acceleration isn't great. His anticipation is fantastic. His mentals are fantastic. Let's throw a little cheeky trial offer in for him. Who else? We got Renier, who I actually really like. Renier. I've had him on previous saves. He was playing at Burnley last year. Can play advanced playmaker, or he could cover Metzala. He's right-footed. I think he could play winger, you know. I think he could play inverted winger. He is also wanted by an absolute plethora of clubs. Non-amazing teams in it. Obviously, Valencia is a minor, but on the majors, you think like Lyon, Montpellier. I'm gonna give him an offer, you know. So we have managed to get both players in through the door on a trial. Let's see what the coaches are saying about Inigo Martinez. They think he can't develop much, has a competitive streak, but right, plays a very good positioning. He's a good La Liga player, fairly determined. He enjoys his big matches. He's consistent. He's versatile. It's a bit low for me, but 12 is fine at fullback, I think. I think Pacheco's only got something like 9, but he plays very well at fullback. Acceleration's a bit of an issue. He would literally be more of like a sit back and defend, but he does have a lot of these nice traits and some nice attributes, to be honest. We've got to be very careful about the wages, because obviously we do have a wage cap with it being La Liga. That's fine. No, get rid of you. On a 12-month deal, I feel like if we could get him for around like 35, He wants 80k. That's an instant walk away. Next up then, we do have Renier. They are saying that he would count towards maximum squad of 3 non-EU domestic players. Okay. Other than that, though, fantastic, I'd say. What would his agent say? 20 to 28k? Can we drop it? No. He wants to start a fair few matches. Tries killer balls, shoots from distance, dictates tempo, knocks the ball past opponents, good jump and reach, good acceleration, good anticipation, is only 23. I might pull the trigger, you know. And basically, that left wing, that inverted winger on the left, I feel like we don't have anyone who can really play there. I'd be happy with Renier playing there, because we want that role to be more of like a creative role rather than like a sort of like a get in the box and scoring role. Obviously, if he can pop off a shot, that's fine. But obviously, we've got the Metzala attack and the centre midfield on attack to support the striker. So I think a creative role on the left would do well. Can I ask? No, I can't have a look. I'll tell you what I'll do then. If I compare him with, where's the Frutos? The Frutos is here. So if we were to compare them attribute-wise from the left-hand side as an inverted winger on support, 15, 15, 12, 15, 16. Good composure. Pretty much the same. Decisions aren't as good. His flair's better. His off the ball's not as good. Vision's better. Work rate's nearly as good. I think we pull the trigger and we see if he wants to come in as a winger. Regular starter. I'm going to put him down to squad player. I'm going to try and put him down to squad player. Okay, regular starter's fine. Drop him down to 20k. He's not getting an appearance fee. Not getting that. Not getting that. You're not getting that. If you get 10 assists in the season, mate, I'm going to up it. I'll give you 250k. Minimum fee release clause of 30 mil. You're not getting that. What do you say, Renier? Okay. Bear with me. Okay, we got him to settle for 25k, 800k signing on fee. Team of the year bonus of only 37k, that's fine. International cap bonus of 3.7. I don't think he's going to play for Brazil anytime soon. The assist bonus to 250, minimum fee release clause of 30, and a relegation release clause of 40, and I am happy with that. Looking on what the board are thinking, they're very pleased with our overall leadership. The success remains fresh in their memory, so they're delighted with us getting Busquets, Bastoni and Fernandes in for cheap. They are concerned about the loss to Osasuna and Barcelona, and they wanted us to get more for Baldini, but that's fine. They're very happy with the tactics. I think the fans probably agree again. Yeah, they do. They like Gustavo. They're happy with Moret. They're happy with Busquets. Cardenas, Oxford. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. And the defeat to Osasuna was a bit of an issue. Squad dynamics-wise, then, Espino, Zobdan and Busquets. I think Busquets is probably going to be captain and Zobdan as the vice. The dressing room atmosphere is getting good. It's getting better. It looks a lot better shape than it did last pre-season. So a few other clubs have come in for Renier, so I might just bump him up slightly to maybe 30k. And Dortmund have come back to the table to negotiate for Van Hecke. Let's try 10 with 20%, and they've instantly accepted it. So what I don't want to do, I don't want to lose him for the sake of it, but I feel as though we could probably find someone who is as good. We look at his recent form. Wasn't amazing. He was getting high ratings in the games he was scoring in. I mean, look, 2 goals there, a 7 there, 7.1 and 6, 6.5, 7.2, 6.2, 6.4. I think we could probably find better. I mean, he's quite consistent for a spell there. 10 million coming in. Let's see if we can find anyone that suits what we want. So there is Emmanuel Iwu playing for Cremonese. He played Birmingham for a year in this. He's very quick. He's got very good anticipation. acceleration and jumping reach. He's strong. He can head the ball. He can mark. He can tackle. He is only 24. Positioning isn't as good, but he can cover out at right back. We do have Harvard Bellis who can come in, and obviously we've spoken about Nkunku maybe playing. Looks like he's got a bid, 3.4 mil from a couple of different teams. Obviously, like guys like Zabani and Senesi is going to be an absolute no. I did have a little look at Paolo Gozzi, but he is quite small, 5'11". I do like the look of him though, but again, he's left-footed, so I can't really go for him. Other than that, this guy popped up a few times when we were looking last season. He doesn't look like he's played an awful lot of football. Who's he wanted by now? Parma on him on loan. He's 6'2". He's good in the air. He's not as quick. His anticipation's actually really good and his positioning's decent, but he can't really mark or tackle, so he doesn't necessarily fit what we want. And then obviously another one of the FM wonder kids in Wisdom, Ame. So Armel Bella Kotchap has popped up. He wants to leave. He's transfer valued at 11.5 million. A player I like in real life. Whether we want to be splashing that much money about is, another story. I like the idea of him, but there was an interesting one that popped up here in Zach Orr, former Arsenal man who has been at Southampton on it. He wants to explore his options at the end of his contract, but he's 6'4", 21 years of age, decent enough strength that can get better. He's very quick, very good in the air. His anticipation's decent. And again, he can play a little bit, What would... 55 and 5.6. He'd want 16.5 to that. Breakthrough prospect. Let's just see what we can get him in for. So we've had a little play around, and they've accepted 1 mil up front with instalments up to 2.5. So I'm going to finalise that offer, and I think if we just try and get a little comparison between him and Van Hecker, you'll see what the thought process is behind it. So if you're looking on the overview, Van Hecker being a little bit older at 25, his physicals are very close. They can play, that's fine, they can both play. Attacking, Van Hecker doesn't matter. Technical, he's a bit better. Aerial, he's a bit better, but again, he can get there. Mentally, Van Hecker's only slightly better. Defensive-wise, again, that's where the issue comes in. But if we do, let's do ball playing defender, because that's what Van Hecker's played as. His heading's not as good. His marking's not as good. His tackling's nowhere near as good. I'm talking myself out of here. Aggression's not as good, his anticipation's not as good, but he is only 21, and his positioning's up there. His anticipation is better. Jump and reach is nearly there. He's quicker. He's not quite as strong, but he's got a lot of he's got a lot of room to grow. Zach Orr, I like the idea of him coming in. So we've negotiated, and Zach would be happy with 20k a week for 3 years and a £20 million release clause. I'm happy with that. I think it gives us a chance to develop, and if you actually look at the staff section, we do pretty much have the best staff. Well, we do. We have the best staff in La Liga. In the background, we have negotiated a £300,000 move for Ibrahim Salah. He scored obviously a very vital goal for us last season, but 9 appearances overall. I liked him. I like the idea of him. He would literally be a backup player. That's fine. I'll bring him in on that. What we're going to do now is also looking for a centre-back. We're going to ask Burrell to see if he can find anyone. First of all, I always look at the free agents first, because if you can pick up a decent free agent, you might as well. First up would be Dmitry Chistiakov, ball-playing defender, central defender from Russia, 6'1", 13, 12, 12. He's down there, to be honest. Harry Darling, former Swansea man. Again, bit further down. And Totti, the Wolves guy? It is the Wolves guy. 26, Guinea-Bissau. He's tall. He can play. His acceleration's okay. His anticipation's not great. Okay. Next up then, looking at potential loan signings. There's one guy here which is listed as a fullback. It's Pablo Ramon, who he just doesn't have what we want, does he? He's too small. Be a good fullback cover. Filip Benkovic, he's the Leicester guy, isn't he? A former Leicester player, available for loan. Acceleration is amazing, but his jumping reach is very good. His aggression's good, his anticipation's good. Good header of the ball, good tackler. He's a lot closer to Van Hecker than anyone that we've had so far. Next up, again then, we have Davide Batella, who's not... No. Benkovic is the best option so far, to be honest with you. And loan offer-wise, there's a mandatory future fee of £1 million. That's fine because he's only 27. Pay on all of his wages. I think that's okay. It'd be 1.6 million up front. So the offer's in for Benkovic then, and then finally we're going to look at players who Rodolfo Borrell thinks we could sign. Obviously we would have the money to reinvest. Starting off then is Matt Miazga from Nottingham Forest, the former Chelsea player, the American international. Is actually really good. I didn't think he'd be that good. Wanted by Chelsea again, ironically. Porto, Atletico, Valladolid. Not quite as quick as what we like, but his jumping reach is good, his anticipation's decent, good leadership, very good positioning, can pass, can tackle, can mark, can header. I like the look of him. Joaquin from Trabzonspor, a Spanish defender, which would be good. Used to play for Valladolid and Almeria. 6'3", can cover multiple positions, but is left-footed, which I think is going to put me off him more than anything. And then Ricardo Rodriguez, bloody hell, that is a bit of a blast from the past. I like Ricardo Rodriguez, but unfortunately he's just not what we're looking for. So I think Matt Miazga, they want 6.8 million. He was playing in the Championship. We're going to see. There's one somewhere between 7. I hate negotiating on this. I hate it. He's 29, Matt Miazga, so hopefully we can drop it down a little bit. Let's see if we can fudge it. Let's see if we can fudge it. You can have a buyback price of 3 mil, and we'll give you 2 yearly instalments of 2 million. How about that? No. So make that 2 mil. So 3 up front, 2 million over the course of that, and a buyback price of that. No. They then want 10 million in total. Get fucked. Alright, let's start again with the negotiations. Let's make this 4 mil up front. Over the course of 2 years, we'll give you another £2 million and call it flush. No. 4 mil up front, 3 million, 1.5 over 2 years. And the other one, let's make that 1 mil. Let's call it 8 million total. Okay, Matt Miazga for 8 million. Not necessarily the most exciting signing, but I think he would offer something. He would offer something short to mid-term, and we do have a bit of money now, so let's see how we get on with that. Again, just working away in the background, we have secured a loan move for Danny Lorenzo. I do normally ask for some wages up front, but he's literally on £20 a week, so there's no point. He's gone to FC Andorra in the second tier of Spain. He did very, very well at Tarragona last year. He played 37 and scored 13. I think, again, medium to long term, he will be probably one of the main players at the club, but he can have a full season working at Andorra. It makes sense. Let's get him some game time, see if he can develop a bit more. Similarly, I am exploring a loan move for Ivan Ramos. He didn't do too well out on loan last season, so we need to get him somewhere where he's going to be playing a lot more. He just didn't really suit what was needed. So yeah, although he is 2 stars to the first team, and obviously he did score a few goals for us in the last 2 seasons, I don't think he's got what we need just yet. So one player who looks like they may be on their way out then is Reece Oxford. Obviously we brought him in for 3 million in total. He's played a lot of football. It looks like he does want to go. It's saying he'd be uneasy if he can't speak to Almeria. Almeria, obviously, higher up the table than us. He played 61 games over the course of the 2 seasons for us, scoring 2 goals. Suits what we want quite well, but last season didn't really feature for an awful lot of the back end of the season. You see there's a few games he didn't even feature off the bench, and the rest of it he was coming on 85th, 66th, 77th, 62nd. I think because we have got a few youth players in the positions he can play in, I think it is probably wise to let him go. So I just took one of the clauses off and we put a 20% of next sale in on there. It would be total of 600,000, so the bottom end of his valuation, but with a sell-on fee, I think we've got to take that. So confirmation then that Jan-Paul Van Hecke is on his way to Borussia Dortmund. They're a Champions League team. It's Borussia Dortmund. I can't really try and keep him around. But 10 million up front, straight fee. We'll get about 7 million back in the transfer budget. And he's got a 20% of next sale on. It makes sense. He could go on and be better. He could go on for more money. So let's take it what it is and wish him all the best. So one in, one out. Ibrahim Salah has signed in for 300k. The fans think he could potentially flourish at the club. He's got 3.5 stars. He's currently playing at 2.5. He is going to be playing on that inverted winger position. Obviously, if Renier comes in, then Renier will be the starter out there. But again, I do like Salah. He's got everything we look for. Bit of flair as well. You know, he can pass. He's got good technique. I do like him. 6'1", big lad. Yeah, we like him. They're saying he's consistent and enjoys big matches as well, which is a big plus when we're doing the eyes test. So that is our record transfer fee with Van Hecke leaving. The previous deal was 5 million for Oscar Valentin, who went over to Milan. Okay. For 5 million. Didn't do much. Went to Palace for 1 mil. Brilliant. And just like that, Renier has made the decision to go to Hamburg. They offered them less money. Are they in the second tier? No, they're in the Bundesliga. It makes sense. Reputation is king on Football Manager. I doubt this is going to happen. No, it's not. Marcus Thuram is available on loan. I did put an offer in. You can see that's what was agreed. He didn't want to come. I thought it was a pipe dream, but you never know, do you? Interestingly, I've just gone back and had a little look at players who are available on the free transfer that Burrell likes. I've just done it purely based on normal centre-back, and Alexander Callens popped up, former Girona player. He tore us apart a few times, you know, and I do like him. But again, he's left-footed. We've got too many players who are left-footed. I can't in good conscience do it. And another interesting one's just popped up on the normal centre-backs. It's actually Felipe from Nottingham Forest. He wouldn't count towards the foreign players because he played for Atleti for so long. He's not very quick, but obviously Jackson is. He can actually play ball-playing defender, but I think he would literally come in as just a normal central defender. His wages don't look astronomical. I might hold off on the other signings and see if we can get Felipe in. I do like him. He is 36, so he will decline slightly, but I mean, positioning, leadership, determination, jump and reach, anticipation, aggression, everything's there. So first in through the door is going to be Zach Awe, however you want to say it. I think just his wages aren't astronomical. It's a cheap fee. It's 1 million up front. He will definitely provide cover for Van Hecke. So coaches are saying that he is fairly inconsistent, which is an issue, and that he might have a problem with injuries. However, other than that, I think he looks okay. He's got a lot of the attributes we look for in a player, so I think it's low risk. It's 1 million up front. We can always sell him on. So we're just looking at sending a few of the younger players out on loan. One of them is Joseba Alberdi, who did actually feature in and around the first team last season. He did make 4 appearances. He's a very good left back. I feel like he's a 17. He's going to be 18 soon. He just needs that. He needs that game time. A squad player would be ideal. Regular starter. I don't want him going to Ferrol because their facilities aren't good, so I'm going to accept every single one of them. I've had a little look through. All of their facilities are decent. Obviously, Deportivo's regular starter will probably be the best one, but I'd happily take any of the others. Same again for Ganui. Fringe player, that's fine, because he'll feature more there than he does for us. We can always sell him on. He's been out on loan 3 times. He's actually not a bad player. You guys probably wouldn't have seen him. I don't think I've shown him. Do you reckon about 4-star potential? he's good player, good defensive midfielder, good hold midfielder. He can win the ball back. I do quite like him. To believe that for La Liga signings of the season, Roman Zobnin was up there, being a free transfer. 25 appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6.96 average rating. So I'm gonna leave it off here, just because we are coming into like pre-season and the game time starting. You can see our first match is going to be Almeria at home in 40 days, so I need to make sure we've got some friendlies arranged because I don't want to repeat what happened last season. A couple of players have been promoted from the under-19s to Vallecano B. They won't be. They'll either be staying in the first team or they'll be shipped out on loan because the B teams do not work unless they play in an actual league, which would be the second tier or the third tier. Very, very annoying. Our B team, as a matter of fact, don't. They play a lot further down. They do have a threat. Oh, actually, there you go. Ooh, maybe. We'll see. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this sort of like background episodes give you a bit of like insight into how I do things and how we're planning on doing things here with the eyes test. And hopefully we do make a few signings. I think Miazga's probably going to go to one of the more high reputation teams, but that's okay because Felipe's actually accepted the contract offer. I believe I've seen it saying. We made the contract offer, he accepted it. We're just hoping he comes in. I think him, Zach, or even Nkunku could play as that second centre-back next to Perozzo. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. 10 episodes, a double upload day. We're flying through. When we next meet, will be some point in the season before the Christmas period happens. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.